Okay, now you guys should be able to hear me. So, hello and welcome to everyone who is watching the Written Melanin channel. Wherever this day may have found you, I'm so glad that you are here. If you've never seen me before, my name is Chelsea, and I write books about black girls who aren't all that nice. And this book, We Are the Origin, is mine. And we are here to be productive. So, if you guys are new to the channel, I am a fantasy author, and occasionally I like to do writing sprints. And today is Thursday. I like to sprint on Thursdays because I'm like, it's deep enough into the week for me to have done all the other stuff that I needed to do, but also it's not Friday. So I feel like it's still a good day to be productive. So that is what we are here to do. And if you are watching, feel free to let me know what you guys are working on, what you are hoping to be productive with, so on and so forth. As for me, I am hoping to get some words in on book 2 of Wrath of the Gods. Also, Veronica Talks Writing is here. Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to the writing sprints. Let me know what you're working on today, and hopefully we will all be productive. That is the goal. But yeah, so I am working on book 2 because I have been severely procrastinating and lacking on it since the new year started. I got some good momentum in the beginning, and then I kind of fell off as other things needed to be done, like with winding down the year, family, holidays, vacation. But now I'm going to say we're solidly into 2023, at least at the point where the point of the new year where it's a little awkward to say Happy New Year to other people. So I'm like, if we're at that point, then I should be I should be getting back into my writing habit. And since sprinting holds me accountable, that's what I'm here to do. I am aiming for 120,000 words in my novel this time. Well, roughly somewhere around there, give or take. And since I've been behind, my goal for today is 1,877 words. So we're gonna see how that goes. May not go great, but because I know that I am going to be deleting some of these words before I even get deep into it. So it is what it is. It's part of the process, and it's just kind of like, if I want it to be what it's going to be, then it has to be what it's going to be. So yeah, getting my morning pages done, and then reading, making a revision plan for my first draft. Awesome. Sounds good. Good luck. I hope this is helpful. And yeah, so the plan for today is to do 25 minutes of sprinting and then 10-minute break, so that, I don't know, I like 25 minutes. I feel like that's just long enough for me to like get into a flow without feeling like as soon as I get into it, the sprint's over. So going to be going with that. And yeah, I'm excited. I haven't done a sprint. I haven't done writing sprints in a long time. So I'm really excited to get some words in. What kind of story are you working on, Victoria? Would love to know. So yeah, that being said, 12:05 Eastern Standard Time, I'm probably going to go ahead and start the sprint. And Morgan's here. Hello, Morgan. How are you? I don't know why I said that like that, but it's a personality trait. I can't help it. but but yeah, I am trying a new thing. I'm going to try to have some background music, so hopefully that works out, you guys. So if you can hear it once we start, let me know. If not, I'm so sorry I tried. Ooh, middle grade contemporary. That sounds fun. I haven't read any really like amazing middle grades recently, so I'm hoping to read more this year. There are a couple that are coming out that I just posted about, so I'm excited about that. Also, Samantha's here. Hello, welcome, welcome. So yeah, it is 12:05, so I'm going to go ahead and get us started on this first sprint. So happy sprinting, everyone. All right, you guys. So that is it for that first sprint. So if you're here, let me know how you doing, how you did, what you did on that sprint, so on and so forth. For me, I am actually more so plotting at this point than I am like actually writing, mostly because I don't know if any of you guys ever like have this problem. Also, before I get into this rant, also want to say hello to Read Love Listen. She jumped in while we were doing the sprint. Hello, ma'am. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. And I hope you guys were able to be productive in that sprint. There we go. Linear thoughts. But but yeah, I don't know if anybody else does this, but like I have like these bouts of like wanting to like just purely just like write. Like I just want to throw everything out of my head, and then I have these bouts of I want to get better at writing. Like I want to know more about writing. And for me, I have never really been like a planner. And oh, Cameo's here. Hello. How are you? And see, I'm trying to get to where you are. Plot like a plotting type person, because I've realized as I've been working on book 2 of Wrath of the Gods that I kind of need to understand the bigger picture, because when I wrote book 1, it had been living in my brain for so long, it didn't really take a whole lot of plotting. Like I knew exactly what was going to happen because I had written a version of that story so many times, it was like perfectly clear in my mind. But now that I'm writing book 2 and I'm kind of like developing the finer details of the story, because I haven't written this part of the story before, because I'm still developing it, I'm like, ooh, she needs to get better at plotting. She needs to write some of this down. But as I was trying to plot, because, and this is what I'm saying, I don't know if you guys have had the same like issue, but I was just like, I realized that I did not know how to plot. It's like kind of that feeling when you're in high school and then you get to college and you never had to study in high school, and then you get to college and you're like, oh crap, how do I do this? That's kind of how I felt with plotting. It's just kind of like I knew that I needed to do it, but I also didn't know what was the best way to do it. And I've read like different books and stuff over time where it's just like, oh yeah, this is how you do it and this is how you do that. And I've watched like YouTube videos and stuff, and I've watched Skillshares and masterclasses, and everybody has their own thing. And it's always like, hey, this is just a guideline, you guys, but everybody does it differently. So if something works differently for you, then go for it, right? Well, I have found out that my brain doesn't like general structures. So I have spent the better part of like the last month and a half trying to do two things. Trying to figure out how to plot so that I could actually like structure some of the thoughts that I have for this book, but also not get too far behind on my writing goals. So I've been trying to like just push through it and like get all of the stuff that I knew out of my head first and then plot. But now I'm at a point where I'm just like, okay, I really need to know what happens in this book. So it's been an accumulation of things. It's been a struggle. And it's been a journey, not a bad one, because I don't know if anybody else is like this, but I really love learning about writing. Like, I enjoy learning new things and getting better at it. So I've been like testing a couple of things out, and I think I have settled on like the 3/5 act structure. So yeah, I think that's where I'm at. That's what I've been working on, at least during this sprint. Um, Now that I understand my story and the world I've built, I'm ready to dive into plotting and develop everything to its fullest. And that's the other thing. It's just like understanding the world. And it's interesting because for me, like the world and the characters are so very clear, but what they're doing, bruh, I, it changes. It changes because it is interesting. It's not because I don't know what they're doing. It's because the world is so clear to me in my mind. I'm like, okay, but what's important? It's just kind of like, I don't want to write scenes where it's just like they're not doing anything but talking or eating or traveling. Like sometimes that's important, but not always, you know? And oh, wait a second. Y'all, my brain is all over the place today. I'm so sorry. But I'm trying to do this new thing where it's just like, okay, here we go. Yeah. Okay, we're supposed to be on break time, so this is your reminder to stretch, breathe, drink some water. Look at me trying to stay on top of things. I don't know how long this is going to last, but we're going to try. And I have a timer so that I'm not sitting here rambling the whole time either. So, haha! Look at her getting better at this. Getting better. But plotting and organizing didn't come at the beginning, so I definitely feel you. Yeah, so I don't know. I've been really kind of okay. So I was talking to one of my writer friends. So we have like this little Discord group. I love Discord. Just linear thoughts. Good Lord, Chelsea, all over the place. I was talking to some of my writer friends the other night, and I was trying to explain like how my brain works and like breaks down story structures, because it's not like when people say a 3-act structure. For the longest, y'all, I felt like such a sacrilegious writer because I did not know what that meant. I didn't know what the 3 acts were. I didn't know what happened in them, and I was just like, don't look at me. Like literally, I felt like that writer in the back of the class, like, dear God, please do not let the teacher call on me to tell y'all what this means, because I have no idea. I don't know. So I've been doing research on that, and I figured it out. So now I know. But I also realized that part of the reason that it never made sense to me is because the 3-act structure was just like, yo, what happens to everything in between? So like literally it's just beginning, middle, and end. That's it. That doesn't make sense to me. The middle is too long. So I figured out how to break it down. So for me, I have broken it up in my head. So it's just like I have a beginning, and then I have a middle beginning, and then I have the middle, and then I have the middle end, and then I have the end. And I don't know if that makes sense to anybody but me, but it's been working out, and I'm like, I can break it down to how many chapters I need for how many chapters I'm aiming for, and how many like word count, like how many words I need for it. And it's just like helping my pacing all together, because I'm like, hey, look, we're in chapter 6. We need to be migrating to the next part of the story, and like being able to break it down. It makes sense to me up here. And I feel like I want to tell everybody about it, because I'm like, I get it. But then also I'm like, I can't really explain this to anybody because it makes absolutely no sense to anyone but me. So here we are. But yeah, I also get stuck in research mode. I have general ideas and a synopsis, and we'll try to work the 7 plot this month and see if that works. Let me know if it does, because I feel like, y'all, this is a whole tangent, and I know it, but I feel like there is a whole aspect of writing where I feel like it's so dangerous. Like I have to tiptoe the line between, okay, I'm doing research in order to write the story, and I'm doing research to not write the story, if that makes sense. And I found this out, like I've always known this about myself, where if I get too caught up in the details, I'm not going to actually do the thing. I'm going to spend all the time preparing for it. It's kind of like planners and bullet journals. I will spend forever making it pretty, but then never actually use the journal or the planner for what it's meant for. My brain works the same way with writing. And I'm like, if I get too caught up in the details and I try to do too many plots or too many details, or figure out all the details of the subplots, or figure out all the details of the character development ahead of time, I am never actually going to write the story. And I figured this out because I tried to use a new writing software. Because if y'all know me, I like to use Dabble. If y'all follow me on Twitter and y'all see the screenshots, they are from Dabble. And I tried to use Living Writer because they had a free trial and it costs about the same much as Dabble. But they have like different features and stuff where it's just like they have like an autocomplete or whatever where you can fill like these character profiles. And then when you write your character's name, it'll like pop up on the side. And I was like, ew, that looks fancy. That looks fun. Basically, I found out that I don't want to do that. I can't do that because my brain will literally be like, you're setting this up, but you're not writing. And there are some things where I was just like, you know what? There are too many features. It's why I can't use Scrivener. That's why I can't use Scrivener. But that was a whole other tangent that y'all did not ask for, but I gave it to you anyway. So sorry, but you're welcome, I guess. I don't know. I still need to find the right plotting style for me. I tried Save the Cat 24 chapter and novel in a month. It didn't work for me. I may try the 3 or 7 part. See, the thing is for me, I liked Save the Cat and I also really like the snowflake method. The thing is for me, I can't do the whole thing. I can't do the whole thing. Save the Cat I found really beneficial for just like breaking down like the important elements to have in a story, not necessarily in the exact same way that it's presented in the book. Not saying it's wrong, but for me in my brain, not necessarily all the elements and not necessarily in the exact linear presentation that they recommend in the book. But I did find Save the Cat useful for just like structuring thoughts. But my favorite was the snowflake method because it's just like, okay, you start with one thing and then you build outwards. And especially when it came to like writing summaries, I found that the most helpful resource out of everything that I looked at. Because it started with like, okay, you know, pick your main, your main 3 goals basically. And I'm paraphrasing terribly, but basically snowflake method is like pick your main 3 goals and you write a sentence about it. And then that sentence becomes the thesis, not the thesis statement, basically the thesis statement for lack of a better term for your paragraph. And then you write 3 more sentences outlining that main goal. And then you put that together and then you have like your 1-page synopsis or whatever. And it was just like breaking it down like that was really easy. And then that helped me write the summary for We Are the Origin, where it's just like, okay, this is the character, this is what's happening, so on and so forth. And then also there was one more, it was just actually for screenwriting on how to write a log line. I found that to be extremely helpful as well. I don't think I can do a screen share without showing y'all all of my stuff. But if you guys are in the Discord server or part of my Patreon, I will make a note to myself to send you guys the resources that I found for writing a log line, because that one, like figuring out how to write one sentence to tell someone what your book is about was so helpful for figuring, like just promoting We Are the Origin. And then also like on TikTok, y'all they have those character count limits. Yay. Being able to drop in a comment and be like, this is what my book is about, and have a whole sentence was fantastic. So I will share that. Let me make a note here to share that with you guys in the Discord or the Patreon. Share log line. And if you're not part of the Patreon and you'd like to join, there is a link in the description box, and there's like a little thing right here. So support if you like supporting Black authors and me and my books and all that good stuff. But yeah. I've been working on the log line for book 2, you guys. So as of right now, the 1-sentence description for book 2 is: a group of assassins must work together to overthrow a corrupted queendom in order to satisfy the demands of a chaotic time being and restore power to their dying gods. So that's what book 2 is about so far. Let me know what y'all think. What's your favorite way to open a story? I'm torn between a surprise discovery during the first chapter or a prologue. I think it depends on the story, and I think it depends on where you're going with it, because I like a surprise discovery if the discovery is relevant and it's going to make sense to me without context. Like, if you find a dead body, yeah, that's always going to be relevant. Like, what's happening here? But if it's like, oh, you're finding like a piece of jewelry, you know, that's kind of like, I don't know the significance of the jewelry. I don't know the context for where it was hidden, how long it's been missing, none of that, you know? So I think it really depends. But I also like prologues only when, again, it gives you context. So I like prologues in fantasy because I feel like it's a really fun way to put you into the world and give you an idea of what the world is like before you have to get like knee deep into it and follow characters and plot and everything. It's like an introductory, right? It's like your free sample at a restaurant. You know, the prologue is like your free sample, but I don't know. I think it just depends. And I think you could do both. I think you can have a surprise discovery in a prologue, but again, I think it's all about context and where you're taking the story. Um but if you're asking me personally, my go-to, and if you guys have read any of my books, you probably know this. I like dialogue. I love opening a chapter with dialogue. I don't know if it's a crutch or just like a calling card at this point, but that's my weakness. Most of my chapters start with a line of dialogue. Um, so yeah. Um, I feel like I use the opposite of the snowflake method. I tend to start with individual scenes and can't think of a major plot points until the draft is already written. See, that's interesting. I am the opposite. Like I have scenes in my head, but like the major stuff, I'm kind of like I have that from the beginning. It's the in between stuff that I have to figure out, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a journey. Like I know where the checkpoints are on the map. I don't know what happens while we're in the car trying to get there. But yeah, but look, I will sit here and I will run my mouth the entire time. So we are going to get back to the sprint. Another 25 minutes on the clock. So happy sprinting, you guys. And also, please let me know if you can hear the music. Just let me know in the chat because I really do want this to work. Okay, great. I'm glad y'all can hear it. Awesome. All right, you guys, that is it for that sprint. So let me know what you did, how you did, all that good stuff. And yeah. Oh, let me not forget to do the thing. See? Gotta stay on top of it. Ah! Back to our break. So, all right. There we go. 10 minutes on the clock for our break. So this is your reminder that if you haven't already, go ahead and stand up from your chair, stretch, take some deep breaths, drink some water. I'm staying in this chair because I want to stay in frame, but I am going to do some stretching and let me know how you guys did. I feel like I'm actually getting a lot done. I have tentatively, because things are likely to change, but I have tentatively plotted out the entirety of book 2, and I know what the setup is going to be for book 3, and I feel like my brain is a lot clearer now that I've actually sat down and written it out in a way that makes sense to me. So it's just kind of like there are some other details that I know that I want to like kind of add in there as I go along, such as like stuff with the subplots and stuff. But for the most part, I think I'm good. I think I'm happy with the way that this has kind of turned out. So, yay for that. In this next sprint, I am actually going to be doing like words, like trying to get this word count in. If you guys came in later, my goal for today is 1,877 words according to Dabble in order to stay on track for my deadline, which I want to say is March 21st. I want to say timeline. Yes, March 21st is my deadline for this. So I am going to try and have it done, and in order to do that, obviously I have to meet this word count goal. I don't think I am today for the simple fact that I know that I want to get rid of several probably like a couple thousand words that I wrote in chapter 6, only because like I don't really care for them anymore. So that's okay. It's part of the process. So going to do that, rewrite it, so on and so forth. But how are you guys doing? I was gonna ask a question and then I looked over here and I got distracted because that is how my brain works. Good Lord. I can't remember. But yeah. Also, if you guys wanted to know what my timeline is for publishing, that's something that I've been trying to talk about a little bit more on my channel and on my TikTok. I am going to be doing like an extensive breakdown on my Patreon. So specifically the one for CM Lockhart. I'll probably also share it in the Discord server for the Melanin Library. Only because I feel like as indie authors, especially if you're like planning to publish yourself, sometimes trying to figure out and narrow down the timeline for everything that you need to do can be somewhat overwhelming. So, sorry, I just realized I had this fan up super high. So my goal in like all the things that I do is that I really want to help people like demystify self-publishing and indie publishing like as a whole. So in case you guys didn't know, I do offer coaching services. So if you want like my one-on-one help to like walk you through the whole publishing from like finishing up your first draft and like getting an editor, beta readers, planning out your release, all of that from like step 1 to the final step, I do offer that. It's on my website. I will add a link in the description box because I don't think I added it to this live stream. But one of my clients pointed out that talking him through like just the timeline for things was really helpful. So I know what the timeline is for my personal book. So I'm going to be sharing that with my Patreon in case anybody would find that useful. But yeah, decided to work on my plotting. I figured out that I want to work on my villain's origin story. I love a good origin story. Not going to lie. And I have found that like knowing the answers to most of the questions is really helpful, and just figuring out like what a character would do in a stressful situation, especially when your characters have to like face off against each other. That's one of the things that I have been working on with one of my characters, like the antagonist for book 2. I was trying to write it out and I really had to like have a moment where I was just like, how complex is this character? Like, what is her motivations? What is her backstory? Because I know that her desires, what she wants, is going to be in direct opposition to Brandy. But one of the things that I wanted to do with Wrath of the Gods is Brandy's an assassin. So I wanted it to be clear as like, there is no right or wrong side to be taken in this. Like, her methods make sense to her, but that doesn't make them right or wrong. And the people who, but she is the protagonist. So the people who stand against her are not necessarily right or wrong either. You know, it's all perspective. And I think that's one of the things that I like about writing fantasy, specifically this particular series. It's just kind of like, it's all perspective, homie. Like, maybe she's right, maybe she's wrong. Maybe she's an assassin. Her scale of morality is skewed, and I don't know. I think when you start talking about origin stories, that's something that me personally as a reader, that's something that I look for. Like, does this morality scale make sense for the character that you're writing, especially when you start talking about villains? Because one of my least favorite things is like when you fall into what we'll call, like, I'll say villain tropes, where it's just like the villain is just bad to be bad, or the villain is just doing this to because the plot demands that they're in opposition to the protagonist. And it's just kind of like, yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but why did they become the antagonist? Why are they not on board with the hero? Why are they, you know, doing all of this and putting so much effort and time and energy? Because I think something that I think some writers forget, at least in books that I have read recently, not going to say any names, is that people have motivations for doing things, even if they're tiny, insignificant motivations, or they seem unimportant to other people. Like, the smallest thing could be the trigger for someone, and it's just like, but everybody has a reason. No one's doing something without a reason. And it's just kind of like, if you're going to write a villain and you want them to be interesting, or you're going to write a hero and you want them to be interesting, or you're going to write a side character and you want them to be interesting, they need reasons for doing things. Like, don't have your sidekick following behind your main character just because that's their role in the story, as a sidekick. Do they have some deep-seated background? Did they lose a bet? Are they indentured? Like, there has to be something good. I hit rant about this, but I'm going to rein myself in. I get really passionate about giving characters reasons. But yeah. Just stopping by to say hi. I have a busy work day. I understand. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you're having a good day. And the stream will still be up, so if you want to do sprints later, have at it. And let me know how you guys are feeling. That's the question I was going to ask you guys. Are y'all up for another sprint? I think I want to do at least one more before I call it, because this has been like super helpful, and I definitely want to actually get some words done before I move on with my day. I have some other things that I have to get done today. So side note, while I'm waiting for you guys to answer, if you guys are not following the Melanin Library, now would be a good time to check it out, because there are some really cool things coming up in the near future, hopefully. So for sure, check it out, get into it. If you guys don't know what the Melanin Library is, there is a link in the description box, but it's just an online database of books written by Black authors. And in 2023, we are reading diversely all year long. So make sure that you get into it, tell your friends about it, and tell your enemies about it, tell everybody about it. So absolutely. Okay, cool. Y'all are down for another sprint. We will do another one then. And while we're waiting, I wonder if I can test this out. Y'all, I have been playing, if y'all can't tell, I spent a lot of time this morning getting together this little stream look thing, because I was like, ew, this looks so fun. So yeah, I'm gonna try something that I set up just because I want to see what it looks like. Screenshot. Ooh, it works. So if you guys have not seen the Melanin Library, this is the Melanin Library. It's literally just melaninlibrary.com, and it's an online database of books written by Black authors. And this is something that I want to make sure that everyone knows. I get this question a lot. You do not have to be an author to submit a book to the library. You can be a reader. As long as the author is Black, you can submit a book to the library. So there's a button here for professionals, which just requires more information, and there's one here for readers. So if you're just reading and you're just like, oh, this book is in the library, or I wonder if this book's in the library, submit it to us. It makes our life so much easier. But basically, the whole purpose of this website is just to make finding books by Black authors a simpler experience, so that people who want to read diversely can, without having to wonder whether or not the book is written by a Black author. So there are lots of genres up here, so get into it. I have to update it for January. So the Black Book Affair was something that was happening with the Black AF book club, where a bunch of indie authors got together to make their books free for a couple of days. So if you are not following Black authors on Twitter, you may not have known about it, but the Melanin Library is here for you. So there are also all these genres and stuff. So it's broken up by age range and genre. I'm not going to continue to go through it because this could turn into a whole thing by itself. But I did want you guys to know that it is here. It is a resource. So if you are a Black author and you are watching this writing sprint and you're like, oh, I finished my book, I want it on here, submit your book to us so that we can put it on here and help promote. And also, if you are just a reader and you know someone who writes books and they are Black, let us know. So as you guys can see, there are like a ton of books on here. It's always growing, always changing. So if you are looking to get into fantasy, hint hint, you can get into some of these. This one specifically, Blood Debts, I know is coming out this year. So, and Blood Scion has a sequel that's coming out. So there's always so much fantasy to choose from, and there are so many books to choose from. So reading diversely should not be a problem for anyone. At least we're trying to make it easier. So yeah, if you'd like to support, there is a Patreon. So you can just come over here to contact. If you're like, oh, this is an amazing resource, you can support the library. Slight plug. But yeah, that being said, now that I know that this works, let's get back to actually what we came here for. Stop timer. Reset. So, that being said, I think, like I said, this is going to be the last-ish sprint for today. I am going to try to get back to doing these regularly, so it'll probably be Thursdays at 11 o'clock or 12. If there's a good time for you guys, let me know, because it's always more fun when you're writing with other people. So let me know what work well for you guys. But yeah, sprint plotting right now as well. Really stumped on some fundamental things in my plot for a new duology. I understand. I understand that 100%. Well, if you need anybody's insight, let us know and we will try to help you as we can. And it's super helpful. I found some good Black sci-fi books on Kindle Unlimited, thanks to Melanin Library. There we go. Look at the Melanin Library being helpful. So yeah, we have about 1 more minute, 1:25. I'm going to go ahead and start us on this last-ish sprint. So get as much as you can in. All right, I said that not knowing how much time it's going to be. It's 1:25. We're going to go ahead and jump into this last sprint. So happy writing, everyone. I hope the words flow smoothly for you. right, y'all, that is time for that last sprint. So let me know what you did, how you did, all that good stuff. Hopefully you guys found this productive. I am um let's see here. Alright. The thing linear thoughts. Word count. I got 774 words, but I'm negative 811 words towards my goal. So one of the things that I do like about Dabble that some people may like, some people may not like, is the fact that it keeps track of your entire word count. Like, it's not just like how many words did you write today. It's like how many words do you have in your project. So once you set your word count goal, it's just like if you start the day at 0 and you're like, great, but I didn't like what I wrote yesterday, and then you decide to go back and be like, yeah, I'm going to get rid of it, then Dabble counts that in the negative. Like, okay, well, you have to write this many words to get back to 0, which is where you start today, and then you need to add so many words so that you can actually keep track of how much progress you need to make to meet your deadline. And it's not just like, oh, like I added 774 words. Yeah, but, I got rid of, how much is this? But I got rid of 1,590 words before I started. So it's a give and a take, but it's weirdly motivating. So we will see about that. I do have things that I have to do today, so I will probably end up writing more a little bit later. So if you guys are in any of the Discord servers that I am a part of, keep an eye out, because I will probably be dropping in there that I'm writing later if you guys want to keep writing, keep being productive. But let's see here. Victoria got 5 chapters read and notes taken. Whoop whoop! Congratulations. Glad this was able to be productive. I am very much looking forward to doing more sprints. So, like I said, I'm going to try to do this Thursdays at 11. If another time works better for you guys, let me know. I'm just kind of picking an arbitrary time where I know that I'm like, it's early enough in the day where I know I will have time and energy to write, but it's also late enough where it's not first thing in the morning, because I don't know if she's still in here, but if you guys don't know, Morgan Lee, she does sprints and they're always early in the morning, and I love her for that. But also, I am not a morning person. I cannot be on camera that early. So, yeah. Let's see here. JC said, had a more successful plotting session than I've had in several days. Whoop whoop. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. So yeah. But that's pretty much it. I'm feeling pretty good about this rewrite that I'm doing. The first version of this book, I don't know, it wasn't vibing enough the way I wanted to. It was a little too over the top, so adjusting. But that being said, I'm happy with where it's going, and yeah, that's that. Let's see here. I like that. I want to figure out if Scrivener has something like that. I didn't write much, just working on the stasis in the 7 plot structure. Cool. I'm glad you got your plotting underway. I know you're in the Discord server, so if you need my help or my input on anything or would like it, let me know. Morgan Lee, she does them. I will drop a link to her channel real quick, so you can check it out. But she does them Monday morning so that you can start your week off right, and I find them to be incredibly helpful. I like them. Also, if you want to write later today, I know Ash Writes Lots is doing another writing sprint at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can also check her out. So here is Morgan's link. And I will grab Ash's link. Give me 2 seconds. So yeah, this is her live stream. It looks like she's going to be going live today at 6 o'clock. So you guys feel free to check that out. I will probably be in the chat trying to get more done if I have the energy for it. So, yeah. As I said before, if you guys want anything, as far as the links and stuff, that's all in the description box below. I will add a link to my coaching services, so if you're interested in it, feel free to take a look at them. I'm also the author of We Are the Origin. The book that I am working on, the sprint, is the second. So if you haven't read We Are the Origin, feel free to pick it up. I just released the limited edition and sent the first batch out yesterday. I have some more coming toward me, so if you like fantasy, black girls, assassins, world building, a pantheon of gods, a little bit of violence, a little bit of a little bit of adventure, check it out. Check it out. It's available wherever you get your books from, or you can request it from your local library, all that good stuff. If you want the limited edition with the then that's only available on my website, cmlockhart.com, or Written in Melanin. There's a link in the description box below. But that's everything. Thank you guys so much for coming out, hanging out with me. I will be back next week, probably same time, 11 o'clock-ish. So, yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing. So, until next time, you guys, I hope your days are lovely and your books are interesting. Bye.